It's Rich Lieberman. It's Sunday. We are live on YouTube. Hope you're having a great end of the week. And I want to talk today. By the way, I've been off for a couple of days. I'm dealing with some issues and trying to figure out a few things. So we're back. I'm back. I want to talk today about something I find kind of semi revolting. And that is, remember Glen Kuiper? We've talked about this before here. He was the guy, the broadcaster, play by play guy on cable for the Oakland A's, who was fired more than a year ago for using the N word. And at that time, I was unaware that he used that word publicly a second time. So when he uttered the same word, ostensibly a accident, again in May of last year, it wasn't the first time. So look, I'm not here to cast aspersions, good or bad, on Glen Kuiper. But after hearing that and doing a little bit more research, I'm not a big fan of Glen Kuiper anymore. So back to what I'm about to talk about, and that is the behind the scenes, almost quasi secret means to get Glen Kuiper back onto the airwaves, sort of a clandestine method, if you will. And I'm not happy about that. So what has taken place is he now, Glen Kuiper, at the behest of his brother, part of the powerful Kuiper media enterprise combined with the Giants, are in fact trying to get Glen Kuiper back into business. And so he appears now regularly every Sunday on Marty Lurie's pregame show on KNBR. Now, look, I've stated many a times, I've written, I've broadcast, I'm a big Marty Lurie fan and still am. But I'm not happy with Marty Lurie working clandestine within the other Kuipers with aid and abetting by the Chronicle via Susan Slusser and NBC Bay Area to try to get this guy back into business. Apparently, the Giants have capitulated, and KNBR obviously have capitulated. It's not what they're doing, it's the manner in which what they're doing and how they're doing it. And, has Kuiper gone out of his way to try to explain what has taken place? Not just once, but twice. No, he has not. Always given little snippets of interviews and tried to backpedal. But I'm sorry, you use a word like that, not once, but twice, no less. Sorry. I don't know. I don't know how else to couch it other than the fact that Mr. Kuiper has issues. And if he was so upset at uttering that word not once but twice, why did it take him so long to offer a direct apology? Why? That's not something you just accidentally say and then you come out, instantaneously, I would think, and say, folks, I said something totally accidentally, and I do apologize. No, he didn't do that. And this is what I find really disgusting. And you're going to not read this in the Chronicle. That would be against their interests. Or hear about it on KNBR. But the fact is that Kuiper family is very powerful. And Glen Kuiper, whose brother, Dwayne Kuiper, is a part of the Giants broadcast, has gone out of his way to nudge Marty Lurie, who has gone out of his way to get Glen Kuiper back into business. And yeah, Susan Slusser, the Booster Club chairwoman of the Chronicle, whose job it is to cover the Giants, wrote this very, very sympathetic article about Dwayne Kuiper. Excuse me, about Glenn. I knew that I would screw that up. There's too many Kuipers. About Glen Kuiper. And it was all part of this kind of let's work this to get Glen Kuiper back into business. The A's fired him. Okay. And I'm not a big fan, as you all know, of the A's ownership group. But in this instance, they didn't screw up. They did what was right. And Glen Kuiper has not really addressed this whole subject matter in a forceful, in my opinion, manner. But shame on Marty Lurie, and shame on KNBR, and shame on NBC Sports Bay Area for allowing this to transpire. Because again, folks, we all make mistakes, even heinous mistakes like that. But we don't make mistakes 2 times and get away with it and try to come off as, oh, we were just doing something accidentally. No, no. This is Marty Lurie, and shame on Marty for getting this situation back into mode, ignoring the fact that this guy has uttered that word not once, but twice, and has not really addressed what was going on. Has he talked about this? No. Instead, they sneakily put him back on the air, they being Marty, and with aid and abettance from brother Glen Kuiper, or excuse me, Dwayne Kuiper. And oh, by the way, another Kuiper brother, the Kuiper brother, Jeff Kuiper, who directs telecasts for NBC Bay Area for the San Francisco Giants. You want to talk about powerful? You know, I even know for a fact that Glen Kuiper, could have found a method to go over all of this, chose not to, has gone away from this. Looks like he doesn't need to. You know, somebody asked him questions like, "Hey, Glenn, you said the word twice. The second time you got caught, which is the one that caused your eventual firing, it took you damn near 10 minutes, 20 minutes to offer an apology. You know, nobody brings that up. Nobody asks that. He hasn't addressed that fully. He's offered some quasi apology, but he's never really gone into detail about what his mind was at. Why, for example, did you say this another time and got away with it? And then they put you back on the air, and you finally got fired after May 7th of 2023 when you uttered it on a telecast with the A's against Kansas City. And look, he's gotten some support from various black officials like Dave Stewart, like the person in Kansas City who's president of the Negro Leagues. But I'm sorry, folks, you don't say the N word twice. It then is no longer an accident. Let me state again, that's not the reason I'm talking about it again here on Sunday. I'm bringing it up again because listening to Marty Lurie, as I do often on Sundays and Saturday, but particularly on Sunday when this Glen Kuiper is on, and then finding out through the background and the backdrop chatter that I get through various sources that a lot of powerful people have managed to get the means to get people like Marty Lurie to bring Glen Kuiper back into business sneakily. That bothers me. I'm no longer going to buy the fact that these utterances of the N word were accidental. If they were, then this guy's got a bigger problem than we think. A bigger problem. But more than that, Marty Lurie, Why are you giving this guy such lineage? Why are you allowing him back on, albeit in a small way, a 20-minute or so interview, without addressing the situation yourself, explaining to the people, hey, look, I'm doing this because you don't say that. You haven't offered any reasons to the public yourselves. What the fuck is KNBR, which is a retarded station, a illegitimate radio station, no longer a real radio station? Look at the ratings. Look at the radio ratings with regards to KNBR. Why is KNBR allowing this to happen? Where's the public statement from KNBR? They don't have to say anything because they don't get any kind of resistance. And Susan Slusser, where are you? You wrote this very sympathetic article with regards to Glen Kuiper, yet you didn't bother to state the fact, full disclosure, that you covered the A's for so many years and you were buddy with Glen Kuiper. I'm not suggesting a romantic buddy. What I mean is they had a business relationship. She covered the A's as a beat writer. She traveled when they were on the road. And you know various people who travel with the team, et cetera, and is generally supportive of Glen Kuiper. Otherwise, that article would never have been written. And all this little backroom maneuverings to get this guy back on the air when he's clearly, at the very least, got a problem. I guess if you want to look at it from his standpoint, geez, I've made accidents twice by uttering the N-word twice. Has he fully addressed that? Oh, little snippets wise. Question. What I'd ask and back up and follow up and follow up. Hey, Glen Kuiper, you said that word 2 times. 2. You don't make a mistake, do you, Mr. Kuiper? Twice. And if you did and do, why did you not immediately come out and say that was a mistake? That was an accident. If you're attempting a sort of back into the business framework, could you address that? No, because nobody asks you that question and nobody follows up, yada. This is a case of very powerful people and very powerful media institutions trying to basically get this guy a second and third chance. So I'm regretful of the fact that Marty Lurie apparently is taking part in this shenanigan fest. Susan Slusser, well, are you shocked? Are you surprised? I'm not. KNBR, the illegitimate radio station, not shocked about that in any sense of the word. And of course, NBC Sports Bay Area, where's your coverage? Where's your insider, Mr. Alex Pavlicek, on this matter? Or anybody involved with the A's? NBC Sports Bay Area. Nah, nothing. So I have issues with this. And I came out and said what I had to say. Hopefully, you all folks feel the same way, or even if you don't, you will now think differently about all this PR mucky muck taking place on the airways via KNBR.